It was business. I grew up in Los Angeles and went to college to study business. I've never been in a school play or anything like that. But Tom Selleck married someone else in 1987 using a fake name. He was unknown to the minister. They forgot to bring the marriage license, so they rushed to get it before dinner. But the wedding wasn't the only thing that happened. A water theft story, a death on the set by helicopter, and a son who became addicted. Tom said on live TV that he might lose everything by 2025. This is the story of a man who had everything and then saw it all fall apart. I was born in Detroit on January 29, 1945. His name is Tom Selleck. Martha, his mother, stayed home to take care of the family. Robert, his father, was a real estate businessman. After that, Robert joined the Army and worked on B-29 bombers during World War II. Tom was the second kid. His bigger brother Bob had come a year earlier in 1944. Later, Martha and Daniel, two more siblings, joined him. Back then, they lived in Detroit, a place full of factories and noise. But Tom's early life would soon be very different. Tom was only 3 years old when his father made a big choice in 1948. He packed up his family and moved them to California after leaving Detroit. He got a job with Coldwell Banker in Los Angeles that paid cash only. That meant no salary, no sure thing of getting paid. It was very dangerous. They chose to live in Sherman Oaks, which at the time was mostly farms. Robert thought that California had more chances for him, and that bet paid off in the end. He was making about $70,000 a year in fees by 1960, which was about the same as the president. But it wasn't easy for Tom to grow up in California. His height began to rise above everyone else's. He finally grew to be 6'4". He was different in every class, even when he was a kid. He felt weird and out of place, which made school hard for him at times. But over time, he started to use his height for good. He joined Grant High School's basketball team and quickly became a star player. He played baseball too. He got up with the help of his body, his balance, and his concentration. Life wasn't easy, though. There was an event that could have ended everything when Tom was 17. He was in a car with two friends going down Mulholland Drive, which has some very sharp turns. The driver lost control of the car, it took off, and it crashed. It was the red Chevy Corv that his mom owned. It was such a bad mistake that it became the first story in his 2024 book, You Never Know. They made it through, but Tom will never be the same. He was smarter and more careful afterward. He always remembered how close he was to death. Robert was successful in the end, but his early years in California were hard. The family had a hard time with money. Tom worked. He worked part-time at a clothes store while he was in high school. He kept working there even after he started taking classes to become an actor. He also picked Valley Junior College because he could save money by living with his family. It didn't matter that he tried to join 20th Century Fox's acting school but failed. He went back to the store right away. He never thought work was beneath him. That's what he did. USC had been his dream school for a long time, but at first they didn't give him a grant. Instead of going to Montana State for free, he chose USC because he wanted it so much. He worked, saved money, and first went to Valley College. He finally got into USC in 1965. Out of the 7 games he played in, he only got 4 points. He scored nothing in 3 games the following season. The team said he was quick but needed to improve his defense. His sports dreams quickly went away. He got side jobs while he was a business major. He was an airport representative for United Airlines. In 1965 and 1967, his friends in the Sigma Chi fraternity pushed him to hang out with girls. He lost both times. It was embarrassing, but that shame opened a door for me. He got a chance to try out for a Pepsi ad after a casting agent saw him. He got the part. He only had to dunk the ball in front of the camera. He got sick from drinking so much Pepsi at the shoot. But that ad's $1,000 lead him straight to the offer from 20th Century Fox. Everything changed when the Vietnam War broke out. Tom got his draft notice in 1967. He chose not to go to war and instead joined the 160th Infantry of the California National Guard. From 1967 to 1973, he was in office for 6 years. He worked his way up to sergeant and then became a second lieutenant after going to the California Military Academy to learn more. At one point, he even talked about the Los Angeles riots in Watts. but it cost a lot. Fox dropped him while he was serving. His outfit was kept in the trunk of his car that is always ready to go even during tests. He learned under Milton Katsoulis at the Beverly Hills Playhouse when he went back to acting. It was very serious. It was hard to learn from Katsoulis. Some people said it felt more like a cult than a school. The kids had to stand up and clap every time he came in. He screamed and pushed. Artists were told to pull out their own hair to show anger. Some people said he was mean. Some people said he was clever. Tom didn't give up, though. He put up with everything. Many people thought Katsoulis was using the class to get people to join Scientology, even though he never did. For money, while he was in college, Tom worked as a model for cigarettes from Salem. He looked great in ads because he was tall and clean-cut. The cigarette ads paid more than his job at United Airlines. But when he became famous for Magnum PI, those old ads kept coming back to haunt him. Reporters asked him why he had encouraged people to smoke. He didn't like those questions. He didn't want people to remember him as the person who sold cigarettes to teens. He tried to stay away from it in a quiet way. From 1965 to 1967, the dating game kept coming back to bite him. Having lost twice on national TV made him think about everything. His AARP said it was the worst thing he had ever done. The way he looked didn't help him. His charm didn't work. He began to think that he didn't belong on TV. It hurt more to lose the second time than the first. He thought about that event for many years. He got a part in Judd for the defense in 1969. It was a long break. Then something silly took place. He lost his job on another show because he was too big. He was 6 feet 4 inches tall, which made the other players look small. The people in charge didn't know how to work with him on set. One agency told him that his height was a problem. Think about being fired because you are tall. It was terrible. He had to accept it for years. Small roles to stay in the game. He was in 6 episodes of The Rockford Files from 1974 to 1979. Lance White was a detective that he played. Behind the scenes, he had a fight with the star, James Garner, which should have helped his success. Tom wanted the person he wrote to seem real. In Garner's mind, Lance should be silly and funny. They had a fight over words, tone, and direction. It was clear there was stress. On set, some scenes were changed. The team could feel the gap. The fights made the work seem hard. He had a part in the cheap horror movie Daughters of Satan in 1972. The movie was shot in the Philippines. The set wasn't safe. It was hard to see the fire scene because of bad special effects. There were real fires nearby. Tom got some small burns. His hair was burned. The team couldn't even talk to each other properly. They couldn't talk to each other, but they had to finish the movie. People didn't talk about what really took place. It was hidden by the studio. Tom was scared, but he had to keep going. The TV show Charlie's Angels gave him a short run in 1976. He played a boyfriend, but he was fired after only one show. He told Tom that the Angels looked too small because he was so tall. They said there was no spark. The show went on. To be a big hit, Tom, on the other hand, went back to making ads. Because he was poor, he only had one suit that he wore to all of his roles. Robert Sallin, who directed a soap opera, said that Tom wore the same suit on and off. Tom Selleck almost quit the part that made him famous. He really didn't like the first draft of the Magnum PI story. It wasn't the smart and funny person we know now. Magnum looked a lot like James Bond in the first draft. He lived on hills by the water, had a mean dog, and even had a hang glider with machine guns on it. Selleck looked at the directors and told them, "I don't want to play what I look like." This was his 6th failed pilot. He thought this was his last chance. He wasn't going to lie, though. Donald Belisario heard him and said, "I want a character with humor, not just action." He changed everything after shooting had already begun. CBS was worried about the change, which slowed down production, but it saved the show and Selleck's career. Thomas Ray met a woman in 1984 who changed his life. At the time, he was still married to Jacqueline Ray. Jilly Mack was her name, and she was a British dancer in Cats on the West End. Tom couldn't get enough of the show. He kept coming back over and over. Jane Seymour, who worked with him, thought it was odd. "I liked Cats, but I didn't understand why she said they went back 12 times. Tabloids went crazy at the time. There were rumors of an affair. People tried to show something by following him and her. Jilly had no idea who Tom was. 3 months ago, someone stole her TV. For dinner, they'd have quiet times after the shows. But she had never seen Magnum P.I. A lot of people have asked Tom since his split from Jacqueline in 1982 if Jill had anything to do with it. They saw that shadow for years. It was 1980. Rig.